Could it be possible that San Francisco is not actually dead and that a comeback is on the horizon? There was a lot of news throughout the entire coronavirus and overall pandemic about San Francisco that had most all of its citizens, including me, very worried about what was going to happen with business closures, people leaving the city, and what the economy was going to look like going forward. But I am happy to report that the reporting of the death of San Francisco may have been exaggerated. Because in recent months, there's been a massive turn of events here in San Francisco with humongous world-changing companies like OpenAI and Anthropic, who have taken out office space in downtown San Francisco. Now you take all the billions of dollars that are being invested into these AI companies and couple that with all of the money that is coming from the city and the state to revitalize downtown San Francisco, and you got a perfect intersection for what is going to be an explosive renaissance. And this just might be the corner that San Francisco needed to return to some type of prosperity and actually finally close that chapter on all the negativity that came in the wake of the pandemic. So in today's video, I want to talk to you about everything that's going on in San Francisco and how this big revitalization could actually be what's going to return it to some of its glory days that we experienced in the early 2000s. My name is Arjun Dhingra. I am a two-time Taekwondo world champion and a 23-year vet of the mortgage industry. And I am really passionate about bringing videos like this to help educate buyers so they can make smarter decisions around taking out mortgage debt. It would mean a lot to me if you subscribe to my channel and liked this video so that I can reach more people like you and help others. So let's get into the video. During the pandemic, it was very rough on all major cities in the United States, and San Francisco was probably the one impacted the greatest because it was already dealing with challenges, like I mentioned, socially, pertaining to homelessness, drug use, and theft. The pandemic just basically threw gas on that fire. So you had a lot of businesses immediately have people working from home, which was similar to other cities. This caused a little bit of downsizing. You have a lot more empty buildings, which then had a big impact on downtown businesses. That ultimately leads to people wanting to get out of here because if there's nothing to do, no places to go out to, and everything is shut down, and I don't have to go into work, what the hell am I doing here anyways? So you had condo buildings that are part of the downtown environment that all started to get more and more empty. This also caused values in those properties to decline, and this was a really, really bad cycle. You couple this with all of the other systemic social issues and challenges that the city was facing with regard to homelessness and drug use becoming rampant, and you have an area that is not going to be desirable, and this is why the mainstream media pretty much jumped on it and said that this place is dying. And look, I live and work in this area, so I can tell you that there was no exaggeration to it. What was going on was very real. There were some people that chose to put their heads in the sand, including many of the city's leadership, which is why the problem persisted for so long. And this is not a video about that or how it could have been done differently, but it is to point light to the fact that what was actually being reported was true. There was no real exaggeration to it. And now, in the wake of all of that negativity, there is some real positive light at the end of the tunnel. So those were just a few of the things that we saw going on during the overall pandemic here in downtown San Francisco. Because before that, this place was absolutely thriving. In fact, literally up to the moment of the actual shutdown nationally, San Francisco was booming. The streets were always full. Companies could not grab enough office space. Anything that could be converted into potentially temporary workspaces or ways in which people could creatively work was being done because there just wasn't enough space to house all of these workers and their companies and all of the innovation and capital that was coming into this market. But then, of course, the pandemic happened and everything changed. And this was not just in San Francisco. Other cities faced this exact same challenge. So with all those challenges and then all of the reporting, it created a little bit of a frenzy. And there was an exodus, no doubt. The actual reporting of how many people have left the San Francisco area during the pandemic and also the state of California are also not exaggerated. These are real numbers, and people left for various reasons, either because they wanted to seek safety in other markets, they needed more space, they needed to relocate because their job no longer existed, maybe they needed a cheaper cost of living situation. Whatever the case was, there were people that left this area, particularly San Francisco, and fled to other markets. So with all of these vacant buildings downtown and empty condo buildings and nobody looking to buy them, the city's economy has really suffered, and it's created a lot of worry for people, including new politicians that are trying to enter the fray to solve these cities' problems. and everyone's wondering what is it going to take. But the landing of AI, or the emergence of it here in terms of an actual physical thing, because AI has been around for a long time, but now that companies are forming and looking to hire people, this is the shot of life, or the Hail Mary or miracle, whatever you want to call it, that the city desperately needed, and is actually going to be what revitalizes this place economically. Because when you had a decrease in need for all of this office space, you have a major problem. And now AI comes in as the shot of life, and there's suddenly a new need for all of that office space, which was once vacated, but now is being seen as a major opportunity for these companies. And that is typically the cycle of what happens. Whenever there's bad news and something terrible happens, cities are resilient, markets are efficient. They find ways to try and recover. Something new comes in, some investment, some thought leadership, whatever it might be, and people seize the opportunity and actually create something great of it. So while we had gigantic and well-known companies such as Facebook, LinkedIn, and Salesforce vacate their office space, or some of it, here in downtown San Francisco, other startups and companies such as ChatGPT developers, OpenAI, Anthropic, Perplexity AI, Adept, and many other companies have all started to come in and capitalize on this opportunity of vacancy. Not only that, what it did was it raised the bar for all the existing tech companies to start to employ or adapt with AI themselves. So now they have expanded their own investment and reach into AI. And this includes companies like Meta, Apple, Facebook, Google, Cruise, Snap, Twitter, and others. So all these companies are investing billions of dollars into downtown San Francisco. They are absorbing a lot of this vacant office space, or entire buildings in many cases. And that's going to lead to an economic revitalization, because when you have companies come in and do this, you bring jobs back, you bring people who have a need to want to live in these areas, and then businesses come back because they're going to need to serve those particular markets and residents. So for example, Anthropic, a company that received a $4 billion with a B dollar investment from a well-known company called Amazon, has been really making waves here in the news because they also took out 230,000 square feet of office space in downtown San Francisco. And where they did this was really uniquely positioned between two very big neighborhoods and important areas of San Francisco, which is South Beach and the Financial District, which is close to pretty much everything, as well as having great proximity to the freeway and the ballpark, as well as Salesforce Park and Tower. But the main leader of the AI boom has been OpenAI, and this is probably the most well-known company in the space globally. The big news here in San Francisco, or in this area, is that Ubun's Mission Bay campus has 500,000 square feet of office space that was recently taken out by OpenAI. Microsoft has also made a huge splash in the AI space with a massive acquisition of another company involving a $4 billion investment. And this huge company is going to be located right at the intersection of Folsom and 18th Street, which is right in the heart of the Mission District here in the city. So these are just two major examples of stories about how AI is transforming this city. But there is no doubt that the AI capital of the world is going to be San Francisco. So it should come as no surprise if I tell you that all of this movement from these startups has brought about $18.5 billion into the space. And according to PitchBook, this amounts to roughly 82% of investment into the AI space. Predictions are also saying that by the end of this calendar year, nearly 3,000 square feet of office space is going to be taken out by AI companies. So with that, we can expect that these companies are going to open these spaces, bring about all kinds of opportunities, new jobs, investment, and breathe life back into these areas. Because whenever you have investments of this magnitude, it raises everything from the quality of residents that come in, the people that actually want to live in these areas, the new businesses that are going to be started up to actually meet the needs of all those residences, and it turns into a big economic wheel that rolls. But in terms of people actually coming back to San Francisco, I think it's going to be a healthy mix of brand new people that are coming because this boom is actually luring them here, and it's now their turn and their chapter in their life to move to this beautiful city. But there'll also be a return of others who left and are missing it because they thought they left for greener pastures, and now are kind of looking back over their shoulder wondering what did they leave, and seeing all this new activity come in, so they will return as well. But either way, there is no doubt that the city is going to benefit from this in a major way. It's going to change the scope of the entire economy. It's going to bring money back. It's going to bring jobs back. It's going to bring residents back. It's ultimately going to bring life back into downtown San Francisco. And while it won't be the same as it was, and seldom are things ever that way, especially after a major shift like the pandemic and what all has happened here, it's going to be something new. It's going to be different, but it's ultimately going to be good, and it's something that we are all welcoming. Either way, I would love to hear your thoughts on this topic, so please comment on this video and let me know if you are someone who left San Francisco, if you're someone who's thinking about moving here, if you already live here, or if you just have general thoughts about how major cities in the United States have had to try and find ways to either reinvent themselves or wait for something as magical as AI to come in and revitalize it. And if you are thinking about wanting to move to San Francisco, make sure you are following me on socials, because I create all kinds of content to help you with tips and bits of advice on how to budget better and eventually break into this market. But you can also download my San Francisco relocation guide, which is below. It provides you with everything that you need to know before packing up your bags and moving to this great city. But if you are already planning a move to this area, you are going to want to work with somebody who is on the ground and has eyes on all aspects of this market and its economy. So please send me an email where I can be of help to you at arjun@allwestern.com, and I will be more than happy and honored to get you started on your journey to becoming a resident of this great city. And before you go, make sure you check out my channel and actually watch the video on how to get your first property in San Francisco. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you on the next video.